Okay, let's talk about something I think we can all relate to. The dread of waxing. Every time I even think about it, my skin starts to crawl. I get these vivid flashbacks of every painful waxing session I've ever had. You know the one, right? Lying on that table, bracing for impact, trying not to yelp. It's like a tiny, personal horror movie. So, when I decided to try waxing at home again, you can imagine the level of anxiety. I stood there, wax kit in hand, my brain screaming, abort mission. Abort mission. I remember just staring at the wax pot, this little cauldron of impending doom. And I let out this nervous laugh. It wasn't a real laugh, more like a sound escaping my body, a mix of why am I doing this to myself? And is it too late to just shave? It's that moment of pure hesitation, where you're trying to hype yourself up, but your survival instincts are telling you to run for the hills. Every time I've tried this at home, it has ended in a sticky, painful mess, with me vowing to never, ever do it again. But here I was, about to repeat history, or so I thought. So, I took a deep breath. A really, really deep one. The kind you take before you jump into a cold pool or give a big speech. I held the applicator, a little dollop of warm wax on the end, and just muttered to myself, okay, here goes nothing. It felt so dramatic, like the first cut in a tense movie scene. I spread the wax, smoothed on the strip, and my heart was absolutely pounding in my chest. I was preparing for that familiar, fiery sting, that sharp, eye-watering rip that makes you question all your life choices. This was it. The moment of truth. And then, I pulled, and I waited for the scream that was building up in my throat. But it never came. I just stared. There was a pull, sure, but the searing tear-inducing pain I was bracing for, it just wasn't there. I was in total shock. It was like I had prepared for a punch, and all I got was a gentle tap on the shoulder. I was so confused. Did I do it wrong? Did it even work? My brain just couldn't process what had just happened, or rather, what *HADN, single quotes T** happened. My first instinct was to touch my skin. I tentatively ran my fingers over the spot where the strip had been. It was smooth. Like, impossibly smooth. And it wasn't red or angry or screaming in agony. It was just calm. I had to do a double take. I touched it again, just to be sure my senses weren't lying to me. Was this real? Did I just wax a part of my leg without wanting to cry? It felt like some kind of strange magic. My mind was completely blown. This was not the waxing experience I knew and feared. And just like that, I was thrown back to my last salon visit. Oh, that dreaded day. I remember lying there. The esthetician was super nice, but the wax was hot, and every single rip felt like my skin was being peeled off with it. I was biting my lips so hard, trying to be brave, but tears were literally streaming down my face. I walked out of there feeling so tender and vowing that was it. I was done with waxing forever. The pain just wasn't worth the result. That memory was the reason I'd been so terrified to even attempt this at home. It was in that moment, standing in my bathroom, staring at my surprisingly non-traumatized leg, that I had a massive realization. For all these years, it wasn't that waxing was inherently a torture device. It was that I had been doing it wrong. Every single time. All those sticky messes, the half-pulled hairs, the bruising, the pain. It was all user error. It was a humbling and slightly embarrassing lightbulb moment. How could I have been getting something so seemingly simple, so wrong for so long? Then it all clicked. I remembered watching a video just before starting, and the creator mentioned this one tiny, almost insignificant looking step. A pre-wax step. It was a cleansing oil you apply before the wax. I almost skipped it, thinking it was just an unnecessary add-on to sell more products. But for some reason, I decided to try it this time, and that, right there, was the game changer. That single, tiny step created a barrier, allowing the wax to grip the hair but not my skin. It was the missing piece of the puzzle I never knew I needed. Suddenly, the whole experience made sense. As I continued, I wasn't flinching when the warm wax touched my skin. Instead of associating that warmth with the impending sting of pain, it just felt nice. It was soothing, almost like a mini spa treatment. The warmth was just warmth, not a threat. It completely reframed the entire sensory experience for me. I was feeling the comforting heat of the wax instead of anticipating the burn. It's amazing how one little change could transform a feeling of dread into one of calm. And the result? Oh, the result. After I was done, I looked at my skin, and it had this instant glow, It was so incredibly smooth, but more than that, it was calm. There was no angry redness, no irritation, just this soft, supple finish. It looked healthy and radiant. It's that post-wax smoothness we're all chasing, but without any of the trauma. I couldn't stop touching it. It was the best result I had ever gotten from waxing, salon or otherwise, and I did it myself, in my own bathroom. I finished the last strip, peeled it off with the same surprising lack of pain, and just stood there for a second in disbelief. I looked at the used strips. I looked at my smooth legs, and I just said out loud to an empty room, "Wait, that's it. All that fear, all that anxiety, all that buildup for this, for a process that was actually kind of quick, easy, and painless." The relief that washed over me was immense. It felt like I had conquered a mountain that turned out to be a small hill. And then, I just started laughing. A real, genuine belly laugh. I was laughing at myself, at how scared I had been for absolutely no reason. All these years of avoiding waxing, of enduring painful salon trips, of telling myself my skin was just too sensitive. It was all because I was missing one simple step. I felt so silly, but also so incredibly liberated. The fear was gone, replaced by this giddy sense of accomplishment. I couldn't believe I'd let my fear get the best of me for so long. Of course, I had to share this revelation immediately. I snapped a picture of my ridiculously smooth leg and sent it to my best friend, the one who has heard all my waxing horror stories. I texted her, "You are not going to believe this. I waxed at home and it didn't hurt." Her reply was immediate. "No way, you're lying. Send proof." She couldn't believe it either. We went back and forth, and I explained the magic of the pre-wax oil. It felt so good to share this win with someone who truly understood the struggle. Looking back at the whole experience, from the trembling hands at the beginning to the triumphant laughter at the end, I realized there was a huge emotional shift. I started out filled with fear and doubt, completely convinced I was going to fail and hurt myself. But by the end, I was filled with pride and confidence. I had faced something that genuinely scared me, and I had come out on the other side, not just unscathed, but better for it. It was about more than just hair removal. It was about trusting myself, and I guess that's the real takeaway here. Sometimes the things we're most afraid of aren't as monstrous as we build them up to be in our minds. Facing that fear, whatever it may be for you, can lead to the most unexpected and wonderful outcomes. Sometimes the real glow doesn't just come from smooth skin. It starts the moment you face what once scared you and realize you were stronger than your fear all along. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and letting me share this little journey. If you've ever had a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing for more. It really means the world to me. See you in the next one.